Okay, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Brakatham. My sisters, Yahweh Shamar Al Thun, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. I'm Priest and Officer Kwamgawan of the ISUPK under command and General Yohana. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Of course, we've been bringing out this truth since 1969 that Blacks, Latinos, First Nation man and woman are the chosen people of the Most High God, and the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks about. So today, the topic is going to be Esau's atrocities toward Jacob. All right. If you're not in the knowing, Esau is the progenitor or the father of the so-called white man. All right. Jacob is the father or the progenitor of the so-called Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation peoples. All right. The Israelites of antiquity, the real Jews that the Bible speaks about. All right. So we're going to bring up a few atrocities. Let's first of all, let's get into what an atrocity is. All right. So an atrocity, it's a shockingly bad or atrocious act towards someone, an awful, dreadful, horrid. You understand that? Now you can begin to understand what I'm talking about. Being a Black man or Hispanic man, First Nation man or woman, I'm pretty sure you have experienced or have seen some atrocities towards your people, or you may even experience them yourself. And more than likely, it probably comes from some oppressor, some white man or some white woman or some other heathen nation, right? And when I say heathen nations, everybody outside the nation of Israel are heathens. You know what I mean? If you're not Black, Latino, First Nation man or woman, you are considered a heathen. And this is what the scriptures say. This is not Priest Officer Kwamgawan's words, all right? So again, something dreadful, something awful. What's an example of something dreadful and something awful that Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation people have experienced? Slavery. That's a horror, an atrocious act. You know what I mean? And of course, the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks about, the white man, spearheaded this dreadful, atrocious act towards us. So that's an example of what we might be talking about. What's another example? George Floyd. That was a very atrocious act. We had here Antoine Rose Jr., another act. You understand that? Trayvon Martin. You understand that? We can talk about the Zong massacre. You know what I mean? If you're not familiar with that, you know what I mean? That was another act where our brothers and sisters were, treated atrocious. You know what I mean? On a slave ship, and you just got to research it and find out what I'm talking about. We mentioned the transatlantic slave trade. How many of you know about Black Wall Street? Okay, in the early 1900s, a place that was flourishing, a Black Hispanic place that was a flourishing, Native peoples. And then, of course, the oppressor came in there and did what he does best. And that's another thing that we're going to talk about today. We're going to bring out a specific atrocious act, and we're going to talk about that in a few. So again, an awful, dreadful thing, you know what I mean? This is nothing new. This is what the oppressor does. And we're going to begin to understand that the scriptures talk in detail about, the atrocious acts of the so-called white man, the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks about. So again, now this act that we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the economic detour in North Carolina, Paris Street. You understand that? This was a place that was flourishing. It was like considered Black Wall Street. Actually, it was before Black Wall Street. All right. So, and this involved the people of the tribe of Levi. If you don't know, the tribe of Levi are the so-called Haitians. You understand that? They are the chosen people of God, along with the other tribes of Israel. So the Haitians, you understand that? Paris Street was a 4-block district, and it was in downtown Durham. All right, north of the Haiti community. So it was like the premier Black business hub. You understand that? This Paris Street, between Mangum and Queen Streets. All right, you do your research. Haiti was the residential and cultural center. Paris Street was the primary financial district for Black-owned business. And this is very important because a lot of times today, some of these oppressors get high and mighty, and they like to say things like, Black people are lazy, Black people can't do this, Black people can't do that. But there's been times in history where black people have flourished and have, done very great things under all this oppression, only to, for the oppressor to come along and to destroy everything that we built up. That's why you have like Black Wall Street. Again, this here in Durham, North Carolina is like another example of Black Wall Street, and it actually was before Black Wall Street. All right, so there was many businesses that we're going to talk about. We're going to bring up these things, and I'm going to read about it. We're going to get into some scriptures, you understand, and we're just going to jump into it. All right, so let me get my notes here. All right, so first of all, who is Jacob? Right, Jacob is the forefather of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. That's blacks, Latinos, First Nation, man, and woman, the Israelites. All right, Esau is who? The devil that the Bible speaks about, the so-called white man. All right, so understand when we say Esau and Jacob, we're talking about Esau, his atrocities towards Jacob. All right, the white man's atrocities toward the black man. All right, and Hispanic First Nation peoples. All right, so all right, let me get into this real quick. All right, so we're going to read about this economic detour in Durham, North Carolina. I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to jump into some scriptures. All right, so Durham, North Carolina is home to one of the most significant examples of African-American economic achievement in U.S. history. Now, when you see that word African-American, that's just, that's what we're called here in America. But really, this is talking about the Israelites, blacks and Hispanics, the Jews, you understand that, the 12 tribes. All right, so examples of African-American economic achievement in U.S. history, often referred to as Black Wall Street. Durham's Paris Street and the surrounding Haiti community became a national model for Black-owned enterprise in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. See, these are things that you gotta ask yourself. All that time we were in these whorehouses that they call public schools, why we weren't learning about things like this. They taught us everything about Christopher Columbus, all about, the white man's so-called great history, all the presidents, but they never teach you about the things that, could benefit you. You understand that, as a black man or Hispanic man, First Nation man, or woman. All right. Again, this Paris Street was considered, was compared to Black Wall Street. All right. Black-owned enterprise in the late 19th and 20th centuries. All right. Origins and rise. Beginning in the 1890s, formerly enslaved people and their descendants built a self-sustaining business ecosystem. Key leaders included John Merrick, Dr. Aaron McDuffie Moore, and Charles Clinton Spalding. Together, they helped establish North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company in 1898. You see, there's an insurance company. You do your research today. I don't know of any black-owned insurance companies anywhere near around where I'm at here in Pittsburgh. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can point me to one, but I don't see any of that today, which grew into the largest black-owned insurance company in the nation. Mechanics and Farmers Bank soon followed. So you had two banks coming called Mechanics and Farmers Bank. So this is our own black bank, which is unheard of today. You don't see that today. All right. Providing capital to black entrepreneurs, excluded from white banks. All right. Excluded from white banks. So, of course, this was around a time where segregation was heavy, and black people were excluded from, going to a white bank, getting a loan, or getting anything to help them start a business or anything. So they excluded us from this. So what did we do? We came together and built our own. You understand that? And this is heavy because this is what the scriptures talk about as well. At its peak, Paris Street housed banks, insurance firms, law offices, newspapers, retailers, and professional services. The concentration of capital helped create a black middle class and made Durham a national symbol of black economic independence. So everything that you see today on every corner that's white owned, we had it here in Paris Street. You understand that? Not here because I'm in Pittsburgh, but we're talking about Paris Street in Durham, North Carolina. This is the same exact situation at Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, same thing. These are two locations where we were thriving and we had our own everything. And you're going to find out, what happened. Like the white man does. He comes through and he destroys every damn thing. All right. Segregation and relative autonomy. While Jim Crow laws ruled the South, Durham's black business district survived due to strategic separation and limited tolerance from white power structures who economically benefited from black prosperity. Now, this is very heavy right here, right? I'm going to read this to you again. While Jim Crow laws ruled the South, Durham's Black business district survived due to strategic separation and limited tolerance from white power structures who economically benefited from Black prosperity. This is very heavy because why? In the Bible, the Lord teaches us to be separate from all other people. Now, you think in America today, because the white man rules every goddamn thing, you think that it's almost impossible for you to be separate from the white man and actually have a good life. You think that you got to stay in slavery. And when I say you, I'm talking about brothers and sisters in the world. You think that you have to be servile to some goddamn white man or white woman for you to get anything here in America. But that's not true. And this is why the Bible teaches for us to be separate from these other people. And of course, I'm going to bring up the scripture shortly. And I'll just let you know that I'm not just talking. I'm going to show it to you. All right. So strategic separation and limited tolerance from white power structures. That's heavy too. Why? Because you go into some of these white establishments and what do? They look at you like, oh, here are these niggas. You know what I mean? And they're going to treat you like you know what. They're going to disrespect you, give you terrible service. You see, just a couple of years ago, right down here in what was it? Cafe Milano, a black woman was beat down by some heathen. You understand that? A woman was beat down by some man who was a heathen. You understand that? Limited tolerance from white power structures who economically benefited from Black prosperity. And that's our whole, story here in America. Everything that you do, every type of prosperity that you think you're going to get, it goes to the other people. It goes to the so-called white man and the so-called white woman and the other heathen nations. So when you do something good here in America, you're doing all that in vain and for a vain reason. Why? Because you're not going to, partake in the fruit of it. It's going to go to the goddamn white man and the white woman and the other heathen nations. I mean, this is a very heavy thing. Think about, right? I don't know how many of you, I watch boxing, right? I'm into boxing. Boxing is my thing. One of my favorite things to watch. Very brutal sport. But think about it. You have these boxers, right? These are great athletes. They train hard. They while we're, working and slaving and doing whatever we're doing, they're working and slaving to be the best fighter they can be, you know what I mean, to make money to, provide for themselves and their family. And some of these fighters are really great fighters, right? And they really do put in a lot of work, to earn what they get. But in the background, you got some stinking Jewish promoter, some white man, you know what I mean, making 3, 4, or 5 times more than what the boxer's making, right? Because you think because you're going to prosper, you're really not. And you can look at it and see, yeah, boxers like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali considered the greatest fighter of all time, right? To most people, you know what I mean. He basically, got robbed. Mike Tyson got robbed by Don King, who was a black man, by the way, but he was robbed before he got with Don King, he was with some Jewish men, you know what I mean? And he left them because he felt like he was getting robbed. You see in all types of sports where black people do great things and they don't benefit from doing it. Most boxers die broke, or they retire, they're broke. Like Evander Holyfield, pretty much broke. James Toney, pretty much broke. You know what I mean? There's other athletes, you understand that? So you know what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm talking about. But again, from our hard work and our prosperity, they prosper. You know what I mean? Because they rule this kingdom and they make all the laws and everything, and they set it up for them to win. You understand that? Leaders like Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois praised Durham as proof of Black self-determination. So you got two so-called Black leaders at the time, and they looked at places like Durham or Paris Street, whatever, and Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they said these places are booming. This is where you want to be, Black man and Black woman. So it was one of those places, like how at one point in time Harlem was a booming black place. Here in Pittsburgh, we had the Hill District, right? So probably not on the scale of these places, but I mean it was the Hill was from what I hear and from what I read, the Hill was a popping place. I mean, it sounded like I know all the celebrities and all the famous people would come here, so it must have been one of those places that we're talking about. Maybe I'll make a class about that next. So, all right. The economic detour. The economic detour refers to how this progress was disrupted rather than naturally evolve. All right, so here we go. This is what we're looking at, right? Desegregation. As legal segregation ended, Black consumers gain access to white-owned businesses. While socially necessary, this drained capital from Black-owned institutions that had once been the only option. See, this is what the white man, he got very crafty. He started to see the prosperity of Black people, just like you saw down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He saw the prosperity of our people, and he said, how can I stop these niggas from making money or getting above us? Because that's what they're always thinking about, is they can never allow you to get above them. They can never allow that to happen. And what I want you to take from this is to understand that you can never trust these people, and don't think that they're your friends. I know you got Jimmy and John on the job, and and whatever their names are, Jeb or whatever they call themselves, and you begin to think that these people are cool because they grew up around Black people, and you know what I mean. They talk nice to you at the job and everything, but these people know in their heart of hearts that it's them versus you. You understand that? It's them versus you. That's just what it is. You understand that? That's just, it's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. All right. The only problem is we, being the type of people we are, we have compassion for everyone and everything, that we put our trust in these people, and it has destroyed us. You want to join these people, and it has destroyed us. All right. So desegregation. As legal segregation ended, Black consumers gained access to white-owned businesses. You know what this sounds like? Sounds like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's what he wanted to do. And when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. died, he said that he felt that he led his people into a burning house, trying to integrate with white people. And he did that all because he wanted to be with a white woman. You can look it up yourself. Dr. Martin Luther King's secret affair with a white woman. Her name is Betty Moitz, or Betty is spelled Moitz. Look it up for yourself. You think I'm making it up? But he did the whole civil rights movement because he was in love with a white woman. All right. So he wanted to integrate with white people. And this is what happens when you integrate with white people. So while socially necessary, this drained capital from Black-owned institutions. So when you go spend that dollar at these white businesses, especially when you had already been used to shopping at Black-owned places, and you did just fine shopping at Black-owned places, but then they make white places available to you, and now you begin to think that these places are better than your places. I don't know why, but you begin to think that, well, I can't shop at these Black, dirty, negative places. I'm gonna go to the white man and get the best of the best. That's a sickness in our head. You understand that? That's a very disturbing thing, that we think like that you can't shop or do things with your own people, and and be content with that. It's terrible. You understand that? So the white man knows, get you to shop with him, then what's coming next? Them Black businesses are going to shut down, and that's what he wants. All right. So Black consumers gain access to white-owned businesses. While socially necessary, this drained capital from Black-owned institutions that had once been the only option. So they left you with no option before, when they told you you were a nigger and you couldn't shop at their places. But then when they see you begin to prosper, they say, "Oh, bring your Black ass, Salaka, bring your money on in here." You know what I mean? Bring your money on here. We love Black people. Meanwhile, they can't wait for you to your Black businesses to shut down. That's what's going on here. Urban renewal and highways. This is another thing that came from this joining these people. Talking about this economic detour. Mid 20th century, urban renewal projects devastated Haiti. Let's talk about the community down in Durham, North Carolina. Same thing that happened here in Pittsburgh. The Hill District, same thing. Urban renewal. The construction of the Durham Freeway, NC 147, destroyed homes, churches, and over 100 Black businesses. There you go. Fracturing the economic ecosystem that supported Black Wall Street. You see, shopping with the white man, and you know what I mean, and joining the white people destroyed your own businesses. That's what happens when you join them. And again, we're going to bring this out in the scripture. You're going to see it, that the Lord tells you not to do this. It's for a reason. Structural economic shifts, suburbanization, corporate consolidation, and discriminatory lending practices further weaken Black-owned enterprises. You see? So, let me get that. Let me see here real quick. Had the definition on hand, but let me read it to you real quick. Let me see. All right. One second. Slakia, one moment. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to get the you know what, I think I have it. Hold on 1 second. Salakia. One moment. I want the exact definition. I had it. Matter of fact, I know where to get it. 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay. So I got the definition here. All right. So, all right. Um, suburbanization. All right. Is the rapid expansion of residential communities from city centers to outer, less densely populated areas, often driven by a desire for larger housing, privacy, and improved quality of life. Key drivers include improved transportation, population growth, and economic shifts, particularly post World War II. Oh, so you get what I'm talking about. And we just talked about it. We just said it here in the in what I was reading. That NC 147, that the Durham Freeway destroyed homes, churches, and over 100 businesses, 100 black businesses, fracturing the economic ecosystem that supported Black Wall Street. So that's what they do. You join these people, you shop at their businesses, and then there goes the black neighborhood destroyed. That's what happened to the Hill District. That's what happened to Harlem. You understand that? It's the same thing here in Durham. You know what I mean? Doing this economic detour. You understand that? Joining these people destroys what you got going on. All right. But the Lord gives us an order to separate from all these other people, and we're going to get into that. All right. So let me get some more. Okay. So downtown revitalization often excluded legacy black businesses, accelerating displacement and gentrification. We all know about that. So excluded legacy black businesses. So once they destroyed your neighborhood and put up new businesses downtown, they won't accept your black ass. Salaki. That's basically what it's talking about. So if you try to take your business downtown, you're not getting in there, black man or black woman. They're not letting you in there. That's not going to happen. That's what this is saying. You understand that? That's what this is talking about. Accelerating displacement and gentrification. All right. Let's get that definition. All right. I'm pretty sure a lot of have heard about that, and you're familiar with it. But I'm gonna put it up on the screen here. Let me share it real quick. And the water for tuning in, the water for rocking out. With the ass she became the commanding general, your honor. All right, so here it is on the screen. All right. Okay, should be there. Yep, it's there. All right, so let me read it to you. Gentrification, a process in which a poor area, as of a city, experiences an influx of middle class or wealthy people who renovate and rebuild homes and businesses, in which often results in an increase in property values and the displacement of earlier, usually poor residents. So that's what they do. They come up. It's happening to the neighborhood I grew up in, Garfield. It happened in the Hill District. It's happening all over the city, pretty much. They come in here. They buy, all the property and the homes and everything, and they push your ass out, somewhere to where you can't even get nowhere near the city. They put you somewhere, in some little town where the buses don't run and nobody has a car and you're stuck there. That's what they do. That's what this is talking about. You understand? That's what that's talking about. All right. So, all right, legacy and modern impact. Though diminished, Durham's Black Wall Street legacy endures. Historic buildings remain, and organizations now work to preserve the story and promote Black entrepreneurship. The lesson of Durham is clear. Black economic decline was not due to failure, but to deliberate policy decisions. You see, first of all, they're telling you that the memory lives on. Same thing they talk about with Black Wall Street. We're going to talk about the memory when everything was going good for Black people, but basically it's all white owned now. You know what I mean? Black people are not dominating like they used to. But the most important thing that I saw here was, but to deliberate policy decisions, meaning Black economic decline was not due to failure. We didn't fail. This is one of the most important things I want to bring out here is that we did not fail. You understand that? We did not fail. What happened was, Salakia, let me see. What happened was the white man came in and caused it. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. The white man's atrocities toward the children of Israel has been our downfall. Like the scriptures say, the Edomites have been the author of all mischief against the children of Israel. They are the ones who secretly undermining our prosperity, causing our destruction. And this is what's happening to us. And I had a friend in the world who had the nerve to say he had got a job. He got, the white man gave him a job. You know how that goes, right? Gave him a career. So he got a job, I'm not going to say what his job is, but let's say he got a job, right? And he had the nerve to say, a black man never taught me shit. This is what he said. And if it wasn't for the white man, I wouldn't have a job right now. This is what he said. So basically, the master threw him a crumb and patted him on his head, you know what I mean? And he went barking, you know what I mean? And like a little happy dog, and forgot about his people, forgot about where he comes from, forgot about all the atrocities and the wickedness that the white man did to him. And a brother like that, yeah, once I heard that, I was just, I had to just get away, you understand? But, Lord be with him. But the point is, the atrocities and everything that happened to you, are brought about from the white man, the devil that the Bible speaks about. We didn't fail. Most of the things that happened to us is because of the white man's doing. Now, we are here in America today and in the past, we are guilty of sinning against the Most High God. And of course, we'll talk about that. Because if you sin against the Most High God, nothing is going to happen for you. You're not going to prosper. You're not going to have any protection from the white man or any other nation, whatever. But if you're sinning against the Most High God, you're not going to prosper. Period. So the only reason why this is able to happen is because we sinned against our God. If we didn't sin against our God, we would have the protection of our God, and He would never be able to touch us, the white man. All right. So again, black economic decline was not due to failure, but to deliberate policy decisions. Deliberately, you understand that? It was intentional. You understand that? What's happening to you, black man and black woman, Hispanic man, First Nation man and woman, it is deliberate. It is intentional. You understand that? This is not by accident. If you are a sister in the world and you got you're with a black man and you see how destroyed this black man is, he can't get a job. Things don't go right for that black man. Vice versa. If you're a black man, you got a black woman and things are going wrong with her. Don't be so harsh on your brother or your sister. Look at the real underlying cause. Look at the destruction the white man has done to your people, to your neighborhood. You understand that the laws and everything that he has made. You can just look at these examples. Look at the economic detour in Durham, North Carolina, the Haiti community. Look at Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there's been many others. You understand that? The white man is the source of all this. You understand that? So don't let him off the hook. Don't be so quick to blame your own people and hurt your own people and cast off your own people when they're not really the real cause of what's going on. And as you get older, as a man in the truth, and I actually became the commanding general Yohana, knowing what I know now, I have great, sorrow for my brothers and my sisters who are not here now, that have fallen because of this wickedness of this damn devil. You understand that? And they didn't get to the point where they know the things that I know. And it's a very sad thing. And I thank the Lord that I'm here today. You understand that? Because I could have been like one of them. You understand that? But now knowing the things that the white man has done to my people, I have great sorrow, you know what I mean, and sympathy for my people, because they just don't know the atrocities and the things that the white man are doing to them. You understand that? So you got to have some sympathy for your people. All right, conclusion. Durham's African-American economic detour stands as both a testament to Black excellence and a warning. Yeah, it definitely is a warning. It shows what Black communities can build when allowed. Heavy right there. That's heavy. And what can be lost when progress is intentionally disrupted. This is listen to this. Listen to this. Take all this in. All right. So before I'm going to conclude this reading, and then I'm going to get into the scriptures. Durham's African-American economic detour, and that's Israelites. Okay. Remember, African-American is a term that they gave you when you were here. Jesse Jackson and, the civil rights people, they called you that, but you're really the Israelites of antiquity. Economic detour stands as both a testament to Black excellence and a warning. So you've seen the Black excellence in these places, in Durham, Black Wall Street, but also a warning. What's that warning? You know what I mean? The goddamn devil that the Bible speaks about, the white man. You cannot trust him. You cannot do anything with them and think that, you're going to prosper. Also, a warning that if you don't serve the Most High God and get your ass in his ass, you became the commanding general Yohana, you're not going to prosper either. All right, Salakia. It shows what Black communities can build when allowed. There you go. You think you're going to be some, Black people kill me with these aspirations here in America. They think they're going to get rich. you're going to sit on the mountaintop. You know what I mean? You're going to be Jay-Z. You know, you you think you're going to be Denzel Washington. You know what I mean? Listen, let me tell you something. It's not going to happen. All right. You know why? Because you're not allowed. You're not allowed. The white man is not going to let that happen. The only reason why they got it is because they served the purpose that the white man, you know what I mean, chose them for. You understand that? But you're not going to get it. You're not. You're going to live in the hood. You understand that? That's where you're going to be. You understand that? Until blacks and Hispanics, rule this planet, it's going to be what it's going to be. So stop thinking you're going to be successful and it's an American society and you're going to join with white people and hold hands like Dr. Martin Luther King. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It shows what black communities can build when allowed and what can be lost when progress is intentionally disrupted. And that's what happened in this economic detour in North Carolina, this situation in Paris Street and Black Wall Street. You know what I mean? It was intentionally disrupted. That's what happened, intentionally, not by accident. It was intentional. You understand that? What happened in Harlem was intentional. What happened in the Hill District was intentional. What's happening in Garfield is intentional. You understand that? These things are happening because the white man wants them to happen. All right. And you're not protected from it. Why? Because you're sinning. What I mean by you're sinning, you still celebrating your birthday. You still celebrating holidays. You still eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. You still want to be a drug dealer. You still want to chase whores. You understand that? You ain't keeping no high holidays. The Passover's coming up. You don't want to go to the Passover. You find every reason that you cannot go to the Passover, right? Every damn reason in the world to not go to the Passover. But you got every reason to go out to the club every weekend. You can do that. You know what I mean? You can take those trips down to Miami and Houston. Oh, I heard about that. You can take those trips down to Houston, you know what I mean, in Jamaica and everything, but you can't make it to Houston for the Passover. You can't do that. You can't make the Lord's Passover. I understand. Well, if that's how you're going to live your life, then you better get used to these atrocities happening, because that's why they keep happening, because you won't serve God. You understand that? And the white man has power over you because you're a sinner. And that's what we teach against here in the ISUPK. We teach you to not be a sinner and to keep the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High God, and to get from up under the foot of the goddamn white man. All right. So now let's get into these scriptures. All right. So the first one I'm going to pull is Genesis 3:15. We'll get into that. All right. So let me share my screen here. All right. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. This is the book of Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. And it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, what is this talking about? All right. This is talking about Eve, the mother, you know what I mean, of all living, and the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks about, his seed and the seed of Eve. Now, of course, we come from, you know what I mean, the seed of Eve, the children of Israel, right? And then you got the serpent in the garden who, basically, what did Eve say? Eve said, the serpent beguiled me, right? So, and this is what the Lord is saying. Listen to this. And I, that's the Lord, I will put enmity between thee and the woman. All right. Now watch this. He's talking to the serpent, but he's saying, I'm going to put enmity between thee and the woman. Now, what's enmity, right? I'm going to get the very definition of it so you can understand. All right. All right. You can look it up in your Merriam Webster's dictionary. Typically mutual hatred or ill will. That's heavy. Why is it heavy? Because God said he put it there. He put hatred between our seed and their seed. You understand that? So what is this telling you? No matter how hard you try to be friends to them, it's not going to happen. Why? Because God does not want it to happen. So now you can begin to understand why Black Wall Street was Black Wall Street, and why Durham went through what they went through. Why your neighborhood, the Hill District, Garfield, you know what I mean? All these different places, East Liberty, all these different places suffered the same fate. Why? Because you do not mingle well with these people. It's from the beginning. It's how it's going to be. When it says, it shall bruise thy head and thou shalt bruise his heel, the heel represents our people, because we're in the lower class, you know what I mean? Because, our situation. And the head, the white man is the head right now. meaning his government is going to oppress the poor of our people. That's what that's talking about. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what's happening. You see what Donald Trump in office, you see what he's doing. You understand that? He represents the Edomites. You understand that? So this hatred was put there from the beginning. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So don't think that you can save the white man. The white man is not in the covenant. The Lord does not care about the goddamn white man. The only reason why the white man is in the position he's in is because of our sin. That's the only reason why. But the Lord does not give a damn about the goddamn white man. All right. His government is going to oppress the poor of our people. And that's what you see today. And even in these situations with Black Wall Street in Durham, North Carolina, when we were prospering, he found a way to unravel it. He found a way to destroy it. And it happened because why? Because we didn't have the protection of the Most High God. All right. Let's go to Obadiah 1 and 10. We're going to Obadiah 1 and 10. All right, Salakia, one moment. Pull it up here. Okay. All right. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 10. All right. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Now, who is this talking to? This is talking about Esau. This is talking about the Edomites, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks about. It says it here in the Bible, Obadiah 1 and 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Now, what do you mean? If you don't know, Esau and Jacob were twins. You understand? They were twins. They came from the same black parents. Only Esau came out red. You understand that? Esau came out red. That's why he's called the redneck. And he has no melanin. And he's the only person on the planet that does not have, melanin. That's why he's red. And he through his flesh, you see his blood through his flesh. You understand that? For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. So this is prophesying to Esau that for all the atrocities and all the things that you have done to the children of Israel, the blacks and Hispanics, First Nation people, shame is going to cover you. You see it today. You see all these things that's happening to white people and in the white government, you know what I mean, because of the things that they have done to the chosen people of God. God is not going to let them get away with this. You might think that they're going to rule, white people have that patriotic, nobody can harm me spirit. But listen, the Lord is going to deal with these people. All we got to do is keep his laws, statutes, and commands. All right. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to Ezekiel 35 and 5. Ezekiel 35 and 5. Let me get it up here on the screen. All right, here we go. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end. Again, this is prophesying to Esau. Esau has had a perpetual hatred. And I brought out in the beginning that the Lord put that enmity between us and them. You understand that? And it's saying here, because thou has had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel. Shed the blood of the children of Israel. You see what happened to George Floyd. You see what happened to Antoine Rose Jr. here in Pittsburgh. You understand that? And so many more. They have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. You know what I mean? They have killed our people, unallowed our people in a time of their calamity. We are in a time of our calamity, meaning what? We are in a destroyed state. Black people don't even know who they are. We don't, we believe in religions. We don't follow any laws. Like I said, we vote. We go to the voting polls, voting for white people. I mean, we don't even speak our real language. We don't know our real history, and that's what we give you here in the ISUPK and the Command and General Honor. But this is the time of our calamity. You understand that? So, but Esau has had a perpetual hatred towards us. You understand that? And it's evident. I mean, if you're a black person, I don't know how you don't know this. I mean, you know what I mean? As soon as you hear it, you say, yep, that's true. That's true. They definitely have hated us. You understand that? Even when we have done nothing but, you know what I mean, be kind to them and do what we're told to do, they still got their foot on our damn necks. Again, that hatred was put there by the Lord. All right. So let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. This is a heavy scripture right here because this is talking about what it mentioned right in the paragraph that I was reading. I'll read that paragraph for you one more time, and then I'll go into this. Remember, we was talking about segregation, right? It said Durham's black business district survived due to strategic separation, right? Strategic Strategic separation. Now watch this scripture. Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right. Now, if you're not in the Ask You Became the Command and General Yohana, you might not know what the scripture means, but I'm going to tell you what it means. Again, Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou, talking about the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, are an holy people. Holy means separate. The Lord is telling you that Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation people are a holy or separate people unto God. We are different than everyone else. That's evident. All you got to do is turn on your TV, look at LeBron James or Michael Jordan, look at Mike Tyson, or you know what I mean, or Usain Bolt, or anybody that's Black. You can see that we're different from everybody else. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. We are to be holy unto the Lord. And look here, this is racism right here. Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So the Lord is telling you that the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel are above all people upon the face of the earth. That's in the Bible. How come your Christian pastor does not teach you that? This is in the Bible. The Lord has chosen a people above other people. Just be happy that it's you, Black man, Black woman, Hispanic man, First Nation man and woman. But the problem is, because you don't run the planet or rule the planet like the Lord wants you to, that's why you're not ruling right now. Because we're supposed to be ruling this planet with the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High God. And we're not doing that. So that's why you're not ruling. But from the beginning, it was meant for you to rule the planet. And that's what we're trying to get back to now. But the Lord chose us to be a holy or separate people unto him and be above everybody else. Now you just got to ask yourself, why are we not in that situation? And start thinking about the things that you do. Maybe you won't celebrate your birthday this next time coming around. Maybe you'll forget about Christmas. Maybe you'll stop being a hater of your brother or your sister. Maybe you'll stop selling drugs. You know what I mean? You got to think about these things. The Lord is a just God. You can't be a goddamn drug dealer or chase whores. You know what I mean? Throw women away. Do all these things that are atrocious. You know what I mean? And think that the Lord is going to protect you. He's not. You know what I mean? If you're in the world, come out of the world. This is your opportunity to come into the Ask You Became the Command and General Yohana. All right, this is what you need to do. You know what I mean? If one thing to go right, this is your only option. You want to go ahead and try the Muslim mosque and the Christian church and all that. Lord be with you. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna end right back up into this class. Don't even waste your time. All right. So let's get to the next scripture. Let's get First Esau'S 9:9. We're gonna have to go into the what is it, the 16:11 for this one. All right. Let me see. So we'll do First Esau'S chapter 9 and verse 9. All right. Okay. All right. This is the book of First Esau'S chapter 9 and verse 9. And do his will and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land and from the strange women. All right. So again, this is another scripture letting you know to separate from other people, and especially, separate from women outside of your race. That's what this is talking about. All right. Now, if you were in the world and you made this mistake as a man or a woman, you know what I mean? That's when you were in the world. Now that you're in the truth, don't let it happen again. You understand that? Don't let it happen again. All right. First Esau'S 9:9. And do his will and separate yourselves from the heathen of the land and from the strange women. So the Lord is telling you that he always intended for the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel to be separate from everybody else. And again, remember, we read about the situation in Durham, North Carolina. They prospered from strategic separation. If you want to prosper here in America, you got to leave the heathens alone. Stop trying to make them a part of what you're doing. That's what this is saying. You can do this by yourself. Black Wall Street and Paris Street are good examples of that. It did happen. I know they hide it from you in history. They don't teach it to you in school, but we're teaching it to you here in the ISUPK. You can't expect them to teach you this. Why would the white man want to teach you this? Why would he want to teach you about when you were, in control, or when you did something great? Why would he do that? He don't want to ever, wake up in you, the spirit that you're supposed to have on you. He don't ever want that to happen. But again, you can get that here in the ISUPK, the Command and General Yohana. All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:6. Deuteronomy 28:6. All right. Deuteronomy 28:6. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. So what's happening here in the book of Deuteronomy is the Lord is talking about the blessings and the curses. Right now, we're talking about the blessings. Like if you keep the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High God, you're going to be a blessed people in the earth. All right. Now, you look at your situation today. Can you call yourself blessed? I mean, I know the Christian church tells you that as long as you put money in the, you know, in the donation bucket or the basket, you know what I mean. But we're not really blessed here, you know what I mean. As a people, collectively, as a people, we are destroyed. But he's telling you, blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. But he's talking about if you do what he says to do. That's what he's talking about. All right. Now we're going to go to verse 9. Here we go. Deuteronomy 28 and 9. All right. Let me make this a little bigger. And it says, the Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he has sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and walk in his ways. See, there it is. You wonder why Black Wall Street and Paris Street failed. It's because of this. Because even though you did great things to prosper as far as your nation, as far as business and everything, they were sinning there. It's obvious. You know, I know because it's not there anymore. That's why. So there was sin going on there. And then if there's sin there, you don't have the protection of the Most High God. Because he tells you here in Deuteronomy 28 and 9, the Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he has sworn unto thee. If, here's the key word, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and walk in his ways. That's what it's telling you. You're not going to prosper. You're not going to have a Black Wall Street. You're not going to have a Paris Street. You're not going to have a Hill District. You're not going to have a Harlem. You're not going to have nothing if you don't keep his commandments or walk in his ways. That's what this is talking about. All right. This is what you got to understand. And the oppressors and the heathens, they can come and tear up your shit, knock it down, take over, whatever. Because why? Because you don't have the protection of the Most High God. This is what we do here in the ASUBK. We give you back your culture. We teach you how to, love the Lord with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and do right by your brothers and your sisters. And then, things can change for you. You understand that? But if you don't do what you're told to do, you're not going to have, what you have, what you want. Put it like that. All right. So now let's go to verse 13. All right. Okay. All right. Let me switch back into my okay. Only 1 second. Deuteronomy 28 and Slock it 1 moment. 28 and 13. All right, here we go. Deuteronomy 28 and 13. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, to observe and to do them. This is very heavy. This is very heavy. It's a very heavy scripture. Everybody that's in the world needs to read this and understand this, right? Deuteronomy 28 and 13. And the Lord shall make thee the head, meaning you're going to be above all people. You're going to be in control. You're going to rule. That's what it means to be the head, to rule and not the tail. You're not going to be in poverty. You're not going to be the people that's in the ghetto and the boroughs and on the reservations being destroyed by some goddamn devil. You understand that? That's what's happening to you now. But he's telling you how to get out of this. And thou shalt be above only, meaning there's no other place you can go but be above, meaning you're going to make all the laws. You know what I mean? You're going to rule this planet. White people are going to wake up one day and have fear of you. They're going to go into a slavery one day, which is work, because they are going to be slaves. And we'll bring that out before we close out the class. But they're going to go to work one day fearing and biting their nails and wondering if they're going to be able to keep their job today, just like you do every day when you go to work. That's what this is talking about. And thou shalt not be beneath. All right. If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, hearken, meaning to actively listen. Right now, you're hearkening unto the commandments of the Lord thy God. I'm reading them to you, and you're actively listening, which I command thee this day, to observe. You're observing them. You're listening to it now, and to do them. You can't just listen. You have to actually do it. Meaning, yes, you got to give up serving your worship and celebrating your birthday. You have to give up celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, all these American holidays. You got to quit smoking weed, pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Let it go. You understand that? These are a few things that you got to stop doing. But yes, you have to observe and then to do them. It's not enough to just know that you're an Israelite. You have to keep the laws. Do you not think that the kingdom of heaven, being in rulership, being with Christ and being in good favor with the Most High God, is not worth giving up pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster? Are you foolish? You understand that? Do you love this world that much that you can't give up these things and get the kingdom? Come on, man. Get the kingdom. That's what you want. You want the kingdom. I mean, half of us is damn near halfway, or more than halfway through this life. I don't know how many years you got left, but I mean, you might as well, you didn't be in a goddamn sinner all your life for the last 20, 30, 40 years. Why not do something right now? I mean, why not, the last half of your life try to do what's right? You know what I mean? You're almost damn near up out of here, Salakia. I mean, I ain't, trying to wish death on nobody, but I mean, you didn't already live more than half of your life. You know what I mean? Why not do what's right and, try to get on the right side and then, get the kingdom of heaven? You know what I mean? You did enough years of sinning, believe me. We all can attest to that. We already know. We all were in the world and we all did things that we regret. You know what I mean? So, all right, that's 28 and 13. Now let's go to Isaiah 34 and 5. Isaiah 34 and 5. Salakia, one moment. Again, the water for tuning in. If you're tuning in, you know what I mean? I appreciate it. Getting class to isupk.com. This is the Pittsburgh class. We have classes pretty much every day, Monday through damn near Sunday, pretty much. Usually about 7 to 9. We go sometimes a little earlier here in Pittsburgh. Myself, I teach the class, a police officer at 500 Aharon. And again, you get your culture back, you know what I mean? Oh, and not that I got to mention this Saturday, we'll be at the Carnegie Library downtown Smithville Street, downtown Pittsburgh, from 11 to 1. Come get your culture, man. Come learn this truth. You know what I mean? It's all up to you. All right. So we're at Isaiah 34 and verse 5. Let's get that. Okay. Now here's some good news, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down on upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Now, who's Idumea? That is the Greek version of Edom, the same people, the Edomites, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks about. The Lord is saying, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. The Edomites are in their heaven. They are in rulership right now. But the Lord's sword is going to be bathed in heaven. It's going to be bloody and made fat. You know what I mean? It shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. He's going to judge these people. This is what you want, black man, Hispanic man, First Nation man, and woman. The only thing is, you got to do what's right for it to happen. You want that judgment to come to them. You want to rule. You want to get revenge for all the things that they have done to you, for all the atrocities that they have done, for what they have done in Durham, North Carolina, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Harlem, New York, the Hill District here in Pittsburgh, my neighborhood, Garfield. If you want to get revenge for these things, you know what I mean? Keep the law, statutes, commands of the Most High God. Come to the Passover. You know what I mean? Come to the Passover. Let's start there. You know what I'm saying? April 2nd. You know what I mean? I'll be on the April 2nd to the 5th. You know what I mean? The Lord's Passover in Houston. You know what I mean? Houston, Texas. It's going to be glorious. You know what I mean? You got to make it to the Passover. All right. So again, if you want judgment on these people, you got to keep the law, statutes, commands. That's what you got to do. All right. Let's go to Amos 1 and 11. Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. And if you're Black, Hispanic, or First Nation man and woman, you are allowed to come to the Passover. Any Israelite can come to the Passover. You know what I mean? You don't have to be in the school to come to the Passover. You can come down here. Passover is $200. You know what I mean? If you got it, you pay it. We don't turn people away as well. But if you got it, don't come empty-handed. Pay your Passover fee. All right. Amos 1 and 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. This is a true thing. The Edomites have a wrath and perpetual hatred towards our people, and it's going to last forever. And I keep telling you this because we have brothers and sisters in the world that keep thinking they can trust these people, and you can't. You know what I mean? If you rebuild the hill here in Pittsburgh today, they're going to find a way to try to knock it down again. I'm telling you, this is what they do. They never want to see you prosper. You think that you are destroyed and in the state that you're in because you failed? I mean, just look at Black people. Look at how talented you are. Look how smart we are. Look at, we're just we're the best people on the planet. But you think it's because these people are smarter than you, or that, you know what I mean, you're not as smart as them, or no, it's because of they're undermining you. They have committed atrocities towards you. And even the things that you don't see, they're doing things behind the scenes that are causing your downfall. You understand that? And the thing is, we got to separate from these people, deal with your own, and then we got to love each other too. We can't we can't defeat the damn white man if you hating each other. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna come together and destroy each other, and you begin to act like them. You know what I mean? You get that from, the goddamn white man. You saw the white man do that when he came over here in America, and he was in, had his five families, a mob, and all the mob stories and all that. And what he do? He was killing his own people, for power and money. And you've taken on his, these acts and act like him. You know what I mean? That's why we got to separate from these people. All right. So yeah, he's kept his wrath forever. This is something that, it's never going to change. The Bible is telling you over and over again that these people hate you and they're never going to stop hating you. That's what this is saying. All right. All right, let me get Isaiah 14 and 21. We got a few more before we jump out of here. Isaiah 14 and 21. All right, here you go. This is a heavy one right here. It's one of my favorites in the scriptures. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 21. And it says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Now, this is talking to the children of Israel, saying, prepare slaughter for the children, for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. Whose children? The oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks about, the white man's, his children. You know what I mean? That the people that you see today, we got to prepare slaughter for them. And how do we do that? We don't take up arms. We don't harm them. We don't put our hands on them. You do it, you know what I mean, by keeping the law, statutes, commands of the Most High God. You know what I mean? You do what the Lord says to do, and the Lord is going to take care of them. You understand that? Vengeance is his. That's what he says. Vengeance is for him, not for you. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. Their fathers sinned against us, right? They put you in chains, transatlantic slave trade. Look what they did to North Carolina and Durham. What they do to Tulsa, Oklahoma. What they do to the Hill District, Harlem. You understand that? These are atrocities, you know what I'm saying? The Lord wants to deal with these people, and he's going to deal with them. But he's waiting for you to do what he tells you to do. All right? He does not want them to fill the world with cities anymore. He doesn't want them to. He wants you to do what you need to do so he can get rid of them. That's what he wants to do. That's in the Bible. All right? Let's go to Lamentations 4 and verse 17. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us. All right. I'll read it again. Lamentations 4 and 17. As for us, our eyes have as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us. This is what blacks and Hispanics, First Nations people do. We put our trust and our hope in the white man. How do you do that? You go to the voting polls. You voted for Bill Clinton. You voted for Barack Obama. You voted for Kamala Harris. Some people actually voted for Donald Trump. And this is vain because why? These people are not going to help you. None of them are Israelites. They don't give a damn about blacks or Hispanics. And they have an agenda. They just need your vote. And then they're going to turn on you and oppress the hell out of you. Just like Donald Trump was doing with the ICE, you know what I mean? And the things that they've done to our people. It's like you seen in North Carolina that how they destroyed the Haiti community. Same things down Tulsa, Oklahoma. Our people down there, Black Wall Street. You know what I mean? You're searching for a vain help. These people are not going to help you, and they cannot save you. The only thing that can save you is keeping the law, statutes, commands of the Most High God. All right. So that's why the Lord says that. As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help, and our watching we have watched for a nation that cannot save us. You can't be saved by them. And they're not going to, they don't want to save you because them saving you means they lose their power. And why the hell would the white man want to do that? Why would he want to put you in power and give up his? I mean, you got to think about that. That's just common sense. And I'm going to go to verse 18. Here we go. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 18. And it says, they hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled. for our end is come. I mean, come on, that's every black man, Hispanic man, First Nation man, and woman knows about that. You can't even drive down the goddamn street without the police, you know what I mean, all behind you, making you feel like they about to pull you over and blow your goddamn head off, Salakia. I mean, but you see what happened to George Floyd, you know, again, Trayvon Martin, you know what I mean, Antoine Rose Jr., you know what I mean? There's so many. You see what happened in the transatlantic slave trade. They hunt our steps. You know what I mean? The Bible's clear cut about, it's telling you, you know, about who we are and who they are. It's always been this way. But the pastor in the Christian church don't teach this. He does not teach this. You know what I'm saying? That you can only get this from the ISUPK and the Command Journey Hunter. Not any other fake Israelite group, not no Muslims, nobody. You can only get this truth here. All right. ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. All right. Now let me get let's go to Isaiah 14, verse 1 and 2. Isaiah verse 14. Okay, here we go. Listen to this good, because y'all need to understand, y'all need to hear this. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 1. All right. And it says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. Remember, Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. He's going to have mercy on the Israelites. That's you, black man, Hispanic man, First Nation man and woman. And will yet choose Israel. That's us, the Israelites. We come from Jacob. You know what I mean? We are the Israelites. And set them in their own land. That's going to happen. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right. So we're going to be in our own land, and we're going to rule. And the strangers are going to be in our land, but they're not going to be what they're doing right now. They got a new job they're going to be doing. And I'm going to show you right here. Here we go. All right. This is Isaiah 14 and 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, First Nation man and woman, the Israelites, the Jews that the Bible speaks about, shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Yes, the Edomites, all the heathen nations are going to be slaves, and they are going to be our slaves. This is in the Bible. This is slavery in the Bible. Blacks and Hispanics are going to rule this planet, and we're going to have them for servants and handmaids. I didn't make this up. I didn't say it. You're reading it right here on the screen. Isaiah 14 and 2. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. We were captives to the white man and the white woman in slavery, the transatlantic slave trade. We still are captives today. But it says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. It says this in the Bible. How come your pastor don't bring this out? And they shall rule over their oppressors. Let me say that again. They shall rule over their oppressors. Sounds like slavery to me. Sounds like black people in rulership to me. So if anybody tell you that the Lord does not favor the Israelites and that he's going to put these devils in chains and that black people are going to rule over them, he's a goddamn lie. If the pastor's not telling you that, he's a damn lie. And you know what his job is, to feed you some bullshit that comes from the brain of the white man. But again, Isaiah 14 and 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. That's what you're working for when you come into the truth. And as you become the Command Journey Yohana, you let go of your birthday, you let go of your holidays, you stop being a drug dealer, you stop being a hater of your brother or your sister, you get out of that Christian church, stop listening to the damn pastor. You know what I mean? When you let go of these things, stop smoking weed, pork, crab, shrimp, lobster. When you let go of these things, this is what you're working for. Is this not worth it? Is this not worth it? Ruling over your oppressors and having slaves? All right. Yeah, I mean, okay. I know what I want. I don't know about you, but I know what I want. All right. Let me get the last one here. We're going to go Revelations 13 and 9 and 10, and we'll close it out there. Revelations 13 and 9. It's amazing that, you know, this same Bible is in a Christian church, but they never read these scriptures to you, do they? I bet you never heard some of these. If you see in this class for the first time and you're hearing these things for the first time, you never heard it in the Christian church. And there's a reason why you don't. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Okay. So if you heard this, listen up, because the Lord's about to tell you something. All right. Here we go. Listen here. This is heavy. Revelations 13 and 10. All right. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. All right. The saints are Israelites who have come out of the world and washed their robes, you know what I mean, and became, new in Christ. All right. But here, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. The oppressor led you into captivity, but he is going into captivity. This is slavery again in the Bible. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. The white man is killed, has committed atrocities toward the children of Israel and unallowed a lot of us. We know this. Some of you have lost family members to the goddamn oppressor, the police, and so forth. You know what I mean? Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Be patient, black man and black woman. What you need to do is get in the ass you became the command and journey hunter. Learn to keep these laws, statutes, commands of the Most High God. Leave the things of the world behind and all the atrocities that the white man has committed towards you, your people, your family, and so forth. He's going to pay them for them. The Lord is going to pay him back to his face. All right. So again, the water for tuning in. I really appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? We got class coming on this Saturday at the Smithfield Street Library, Carnegie Library, downtown. Again, we got the Passover coming up. I can't wait for the Passover. A couple more weeks away, 2 weeks away, a little more than 2 weeks. That's going to be a great time in Houston, Texas. Anybody who's an Israelite is welcome to come. You know what I mean? Come on down, come see what it's really like to have heaven on earth. You know what I mean? That's the closest thing, you know what I mean, you're going to see to it. All right. So again, the water for tuning in. I'm Priest Officer Kwamgwan. Shalom.